I run my fingers across the cool granite countertop, the one I selected after comparing 12 different samples. Sunlight streams through the windows I've cleaned twice this morning, casting golden rectangles across my new hardwood floors. My apartment. My achievement. My name alone on the deed. The doorbell chimes, sending a flutter of anxiety through my chest. They're here. I smooth my blouse and open the door, greeted by my mother's critical gaze as she scans the entryway. Amy, darling. She air kisses near my cheek, the scent of her expensive perfume invading my space. Her eyes narrow at the modest decorations I've arranged. Couldn't you have hired an interior designer like the one Jessica uses? This place could have so much more personality. Dad steps in behind her, already checking his phone. Traffic was terrible. Is there parking validation? Jessica sweeps in last, designer sunglasses perched on her head, phone in hand. She gives the apartment a cursory glance. It's cute, smaller than I expected. It's 2 bedrooms, I reply, swallowing the defense rising in my throat. Perfect for me. I lead them through the tour I've rehearsed, pointing out features I've worked months of overtime to afford. The south-facing windows bring in natural light all day. And I negotiated a great deal on the upgraded appliances. Dad nods absently, thumbing through emails. Did you see my latest post got 5,000 likes? Jessica interrupts, thrusting her phone toward our parents. The activewear company wants to extend my influencer contract. Mom and Dad immediately crowd around her screen. Show us, Mom exclaims. Your social media is really taking off. That's my girl, Dad beams, suddenly attentive. Always knew you'd make a name for yourself. I stand forgotten by my carefully selected kitchen backsplash. I got promoted to senior manager last week. I offer when there's a lull. 3 years instead of the usual 5. That's nice, dear, Mom says without looking up. Now about Jessica's influencer collaboration. A memory surfaces. Me at 12, saving every dollar of allowance for months while Jessica blew hers on mall trips. When I finally had enough for the laptop I needed for school projects, I showed my parents proudly. That's a lot of hard work, Dad had said distractedly. That same night, Jessica came home with new designer jeans Mom had bought her just because. The scene repeats with different props as we grow. My full scholarship announcement met with distracted nods at dinner, while Jessica's barely passing graduation warranted a backyard celebration with 50 guests. Anyone want coffee? I ask, returning to the present. I've got that special blend from the local roaster. No one answers. They've migrated to my small balcony where Jessica is taking selfies, positioning herself to capture the city view I fell in love with. This would make such a cute background for my wellness series, she says, though I'd need to filter out those power lines. My parents nod appreciatively, as if she's discovered something I've never noticed. After they leave early, because Jessica has a thing, I stand in my quiet apartment, feeling the hollow victory. 3 weeks later, I'm in the dealership signing papers for my new SUV. Not brand new, but new to me. 3 years of saving while driving a car held together with hope and duct tape. The salesman hands me the keys. Congratulations, Miss Morgan, she's all yours. Pride swells in my chest as I run my hand along the sleek silver exterior. I worked for this. Every dollar earned through early mornings and late nights. When my family arrives for Sunday dinner, I park prominently in the driveway. Nice car, Dad says, giving it a cursory glance. It's the mid-range model, I explain. Good safety ratings, and I negotiated them down $3,000. Jessica circles it, her expression unimpressed. Why work so hard? I'll just find a rich husband and get everything handed to me. My parents laugh like she said something brilliant. That's our Jess, always thinking ahead, Mom says, squeezing Jessica's arm affectionately. I stand beside my car, fingers tightening around my keys as I force a smile. This moment of achievement, like all the others, dissolves into the background of Jessica's distance. I follow them inside, the familiar weight settling on my shoulders, the weight of being perpetually second best in the eyes of the people who should see me most clearly. What they don't see is the resolve hardening inside me. What they don't know is that one day they'll push too far. And when that day comes, they'll discover what I'm truly capable of. I stand in a cramped dressing room, watching as my sister twirls in her $25,000 wedding gown. The silk rustles like money changing hands, diamonds catching light at her throat. Perfect. Our mother breathes, eyes glistening. Absolutely perfect. I adjust the bridesmaid dress they've selected, a shade that washes out my complexion, in a cut that does nothing for my figure. The price tag alone could cover my monthly mortgage payment. Tyler's family has connections to everyone, Jessica emphasizes, examining her reflection from another angle. This wedding is going to be featured in 3 different magazines. Mom fusses with Jessica's train, spreading it out to maximize the dramatic effect. Our daughter has truly made it. I catch my mother's gaze in the mirror as she looks over at me. This is what real success looks like, Amy, she says, her voice honey, sweet but eyes sharp. Not everyone understands the value of making the right connections. I bite my tongue until I taste copper. Across the boutique, I notice Tyler's mother and sister exchange a glance I recognize concern masked as politeness. They see what my parents refuse to acknowledge. The invitation to Jessica's destination honeymoon arrives through Instagram. Their trip to the Maldives fills my feed for 2 weeks straight. Overwater bungalows, champagne at sunrise, designer swimwear meticulously arranged on pristine sand. My promotion email arrives the same day as Jessica's posts of her new Range Rover. Congratulations, the subject line reads. Director of Marketing effective immediately. I pour a glass of wine and update my investment portfolio spreadsheet, adding the new salary figures. The numbers grow steadily, not glamorous, but solid. Real. When I drive to my parents for Sunday dinner, Jessica's gleaming sports car dominates the driveway. Inside, she lounges on the couch, scrolling through her phone. Just ordered the most incredible Hermes bag, she announces without looking up. Tyler's bonus came through early. I set down the dish I've brought, homemade lasagna still warm from my oven. That's nice, I say. I just got promoted to director. Dad glances up from his newspaper. Good for you, kiddo. Jessica, show us the bag you're getting. 4 years later, I hear the news through a phone call from my sobbing mother. He just left her, Mom wails through the speaker. Called her shallow and wasteful. Can you believe it? After everything she's done for him. I grip my phone tighter, thinking of the luxury vacations, the wardrobes of clothes with tags still attached, the sports cars traded in yearly. What exactly happened? Tyler stood at the door with his suitcases, Mom says, her voice cracking. He told Jessica he couldn't support her endless spending anymore, that she'd never understood the value of money or marriage. She tried to explain that she deserves nice things, but he just walked away. I stare at my expense tracker app, decades of careful decisions reflected in neat columns. The divorce papers cite irreconcilable differences and financial irresponsibility. Mom spits the words like venom. His lawyer is being absolutely ruthless about the prenup. She's getting practically nothing, Amy. Where is she staying? I ask, though I already know the answer. Here, of course, Mom says, as if it's obvious. We've kept her room exactly as she left it. She needs our support right now. My hands tremble as I open the email 3 times to confirm I'm not hallucinating. Congratulations, Amy Morgan. You're the winner of our European Dream Vacation contest. Your entry showcasing innovative marketing strategies has earned you an all-expenses-paid trip, valued at $15,000. Experience 2 weeks across 5 European countries. I dial my parents' number, excitement bubbling in my chest. For once, I have something extraordinary to share. Mom, Dad, you won't believe this. I entered a professional contest months ago and just found out I won a $15,000 European trip. I'm going to see Italy, France. Oh, sweetie, Mom interrupts, her voice shifting to the tone she uses when explaining difficult concepts to children. You should give that to Jessica. She needs to heal right now. The excitement freezes in my chest. What? Your sister is devastated, Dad chimes in. A trip like that would really help her recover from this trauma. She hasn't had a vacation since the divorce. It's not transferable, I say automatically, though I haven't even checked. It's a professional achievement prize. I'm sure you could work something out, Mom presses. Your sister needs this more than you do. It's selfish to keep it. The familiar weight settles on my shoulders, the expectation that I'll fold, accommodate, sacrifice. But something different stirs beneath the weight this time. Something that's been building through years of dimmed celebrations and diverted attention. No. The silence on the other end of the line stretches long enough that I check to see if the call dropped. Excuse me? Mom finally says. No, I repeat, my voice growing steady. I earned this. I'm going. Amy Elizabeth Morgan. My father's voice hardens. We're disappointed in you, after everything we've done. What exactly have you done? The words escape before I can reconsider. When have you ever celebrated my achievements the way you celebrate Jessica's existence? I hear the front door open in the background of the call, followed by Jessica's voice asking what's happening. Your sister is being selfish, Mom explains loudly. She won a European trip and refuses to give it to you. Jessica's voice comes through clearly, shrill with indignation. Are you serious? You've always had everything easy. You have a job and an apartment. I have nothing. I have those things because I worked for them, I say, surprised by how calm I sound. Just like I worked for this trip. We raised you to care about family, Dad says, disappointment heavy in his voice. I do care about family, I reply, but I also care about myself. I end the call and stand in my quiet kitchen, shoulders square for the first time in years. My reflection in the window shows someone I barely recognize, someone with a straight spine and clear eyes. 2 weeks in Europe, away from their expectations and disappointments, away from a lifetime of second place. I book my flight that night. I tilt my face toward the Tuscan sun, letting its warmth sink into my skin. Standing atop this ancient hill, surrounded by cypress trees and rolling vineyards, I feel something unfamiliar peace. No one here knows about Amy Morgan, the perpetual second best. No one cares about Jessica's Instagram followers or my parents' transparent favoritism. I snap photos of crumbling stone archways and centuries-old frescoes, never once turning the camera on myself. For 3 glorious weeks, I've existed without comparison, without judgment, without having to make myself smaller. In my travel journal, the pen flows easily across the page. For the first time, I feel valued for who I am. The Italian family at the local trattoria remembers my name, not my sister's. The watercolor instructor praises my eye for detail, not my ability to pose prettily. The hiking guide appreciates my prepared questions, not my designer activewear. On my final evening, I raise a glass of local wine with travelers I've befriended. To building a life on my own terms, I toast. The words taste like possibility. My key turns in the lock, luggage heavy in my hands. 15 hours of travel has left me craving a hot shower in my own bed. But the moment the door swings open, something is wrong. Unfamiliar shoes designer stilettos I'd never waste money on litter my meticulously organized entryway. A silk blouse that costs more than my monthly grocery budget is thrown carelessly over my sofa. The air smells ranch expensive perfume masking something else, something sour. Hello? I call out, voice sharper than intended. The bathroom door opens. Jessica emerges, wrapped in my robe, hair dripping onto my clean floors. Oh, she says, barely glancing up from her phone. You're back already? My throat tightens. What are you doing in my apartment? She shrugs, scrolling through social media. Mom and Dad gave me a key. I needed somewhere to stay. They're on speaker, actually. She gestures toward the phone on my kitchen counter. I drop my bags and stride across the room. Mom? Dad? Why does Jessica have a key to my apartment? Amy, don't make a fuss. My mother's voice crackles through the speaker. Your sister needed somewhere to stay while sorting things out. Your place was just sitting empty. My place wasn't sitting empty. I was on a trip. A trip you should have given to your sister. My father interrupts. She needed it more than you. I press my fingers against my temples. Where's all my stuff? My bedroom. I moved some things to make space, Jessica says, examining her manicure. No big deal. My heart pounds as I scan the apartment. Family photos rearranged. My books stacked haphazardly in corners. Cabinet doors left open. Contents reorganized to make room for Jessica's organic specialty foods. A horrible thought strikes me. My car. I need to check on my car. I grab my keys and rush out, ignoring Jessica's eye roll and my parents' voices calling after me. The elevator seems to crawl. My hands shake as I punch the button for the parking garage. The space where my SUV should be space 247, where I've parked for 2 years, is empty. A cold weight settles in my stomach. I dial my parents, pacing the concrete floor. Where is my car? I demand when my father answers. Now, Amy, don't overreact. His tone is the same one he used when explaining why Jessica got a car for her 16th birthday while I took the bus until I could save for my own. Where is my car? Each word punctuated by the sharp click of my shoes on concrete. We sold it, he says matter-of-factly. Jessica needed money to get back on her feet. The world tilts. You sold my car? You had no right. My mother's voice cuts in. It was just a car, Amy. Family is more important. Jessica needs us right now. It was my car, I whisper, then louder. It was my car. I paid for it. My name was on the title. We'll discuss this when you've calmed down, my father says before hanging up. I stare at my phone, rage building like a physical force. I take the stairs back to my apartment, too restless for the elevator. Jessica is still there, now lounging on my couch, scrolling through her phone. Where's the money from my car, I demand. She doesn't look up. I needed things. I spot a bank statement on the counter my parents' account. A withdrawal for $25,000. Next to it, receipts from designer boutiques and a new spa membership card with Jessica's name. My SUV, my independence, my hard work, all liquidated to fund Jessica's healing. The front door opens. My parents walk in without knocking, as if they own the place, as if they have any right to be here. You're being dramatic, my father says with a dismissive wave of his hand. You can buy another car. You have a good job. You stole from me, I say, my voice unnaturally calm. You sold property that wasn't yours to sell. My mother sighs. Family shares everything. Why are you so selfish? That word selfish, the one they've wielded against me my entire life whenever I've wanted something for myself. But something has changed. My hands are no longer shaking. My voice is steady. The shame they've tried to instill no longer takes root. Get out, I say. All of you. Now. Jessica's face contorts in manufactured outrage. After everything we've done for you? Fake tears spring to her eyes, the same performance that's worked on our parents for decades. My father puffs up. This is not how you speak to family. You've done nothing but take. I cut him off, my voice ice cold. That ends. Get out of my apartment before I call the police and report my car stolen. Jessica gasps. You wouldn't. I would. I am. I hold the door open, arm rigid. Leave your key. My mother tries one last manipulation. We're your family, Amy. I meet her eyes without flinching. Not anymore. When the door closes behind them, I slide the deadbolt with a satisfying click. For the first time, the sound doesn't represent keeping others out. It represents keeping myself in. I slide the manila folder across the polished desk. Evidence of betrayal packaged in crisp chronological order. The attorney, Ms. Liviner, raises her eyebrows as she flips through the documents. They had no legal right to sell property registered in your name, she says, her voice sharpening as she examines the car title. My name in bold black letters. This is straightforward theft. I want everything documented, every penny. My voice doesn't waver anymore when I speak about them. The tremor that used to live in my throat has hardened into something stronger. Miss Levine lifts a spreadsheet from the folder. You've kept receipts for years? Since I was 16. I don't tell her how it started as a desperate attempt to prove my worth. How I'd highlighted every contribution, every loan that mysteriously became a gift when Jessica needed something. Miss Levine taps her pen against my meticulously organized evidence. Most clients come in with scattered memories, maybe a bank statement or two. You've brought me a case file that would make a paralegal jealous. I say nothing. Preparation has always been my armor. She holds up my car title, the highlighter mark vivid against the paper. The vehicle was solely in your name. They had no authority to sell it. They never thought I'd fight back. I run my finger along the edge of the desk. They still don't. Back home, I add another document to the growing file. A printout of Jessica's Instagram post timestamped 3 days after they sold my car, showing her lounging at a luxury spa. The caption reads, Self-care is investing in yourself. Number healing, number treat yourself, number deserving. Beside it, I place screenshots of text messages from my father. We did what was necessary for Jessica. The car was just sitting there while you were gallivanting in Europe. My mother, family shares. You've always been so selfish with your things. The evidence mounts. Not just of the car, but years of financial manipulation. The emergency money they needed when I was 24 that went toward Jessica's destination birthday party. The temporary housing they demanded for Jessica in my apartment that stretched from weeks to months. I close the folder and place it carefully in my briefcase. Tomorrow, they learn what consequences feel like. The sheriff is punctual. I stand in my living room, arms crossed, as he knocks on my apartment door. Jessica answers, her face transitioning from annoyance to confusion. Jessica Morgan, the sheriff asks. Yes, she's wearing my robe again. I'm serving you with an eviction notice. You have 72 hours to vacate these premises. Jessica's mouth opens and closes. She snatches the document, scans it, then glares at me over the sheriff's shoulder. You wouldn't. I meet her gaze. I already have. After the sheriff leaves, Jessica advances on me. You vindictive bitch. Mom and Dad will. They'll what? Sell another one of my possessions without permission? We've reached the end of that particular road. I pick up her designer purse from my coffee table and hold it out. You might want to start packing. 3 days later, I stand in the doorway, arms crossed as Jessica drags her overloaded suitcases across my hardwood floors. The sheriff waits patiently by the elevator. This is ridiculous, she huffs, struggling with a designer bag stuffed with clothes, most of them still with tags. Where am I supposed to go? That's not my problem. My voice sounds different even to my own ears, unburdened. Jessica pauses at the threshold, mascara smudged beneath her eyes. Mom and Dad will never forgive you for this. I'm not asking for forgiveness, I'm demanding respect. I don't move from my position. The sheriff checks his watch. We need to wrap this up, ma'am. Jessica's face contorts with a familiar tantrum brewing, but for once, she has no audience willing to indulge it. She yanks her suitcase over the threshold with a dramatic sob. The sheriff guides her toward the elevator with professional detachment. I close the door as they disappear from view. The silence in my apartment feels like a physical presence, clean and untainted. My father's voicemail plays on speaker while the locksmith changes my locks. You wouldn't sue your own family. We raised you, paid for your. I stop the recording and add it to my evidence folder, nodding to the locksmith as he hands me new keys. The security system will send notifications directly to your phone, the technician explains as he installs sensors on my windows. Any unauthorized entry triggers an immediate alert. I pay him extra to finish today. Tonight, I'll sleep in my space truly mine for the first time in weeks. Their living room looks smaller than I remember. Mom perches on the edge of the sofa, tissues clutched in her hand. Dad stands by the fireplace, arms crossed, face flushed. Miss Levine sits beside me, her briefcase open. You have two choices, I state, my voice steady. Return $30,000 plus damages or we proceed to court. We don't have that kind of money. My mother's tears flow freely, the same tears that once paralyzed me with guilt. Dad slams his hand against the mantel. This is extortion. This is justice, miss. Levine corrects, her tone professionally detached. The documentation is comprehensive. The unauthorized sale of the vehicle, the misappropriation of funds, the pattern of financial exploitation. Exploitation? My mother's tears evaporate. We're her parents. Yes, I say, and parents shouldn't steal from their children. Where are we supposed to get $30,000? Dad demands. I look around the house. I grew up in the house. They remortgaged twice to fund Jessica's whims. Then you'll need to sell the house. You have 30 days to make arrangements. My mother gasps. My father's face drains of color. Amy, he starts, his voice softening into the cajoling tone that once worked so well. Sweetheart, we can work something out as a family. We already tried that approach. I close my copy of the legal documents. It didn't work out well for me. As we leave, I don't look back. The weight that's lived between my shoulder blades for decades feels lighter with each step. Is it really revenge when you're simply demanding justice? The thought follows me to the car where, for the first time, I allow myself a small smile. They never imagined I would fight back. They're about to learn that years of dismissal and theft create a formidable opponent. I straighten my navy blazer and check my reflection in the courthouse bathroom mirror. My hands are steady a welcome change from the trembling that haunted me after discovering Jessica in my apartment. The woman staring back at me stands taller than she did 3 months ago. The door swings open, and I step into the marble-floored hallway where my attorney waits, briefcase in hand. The click of my heels against stone echoes with each deliberate step. Then I see them huddled together at the far end of the corridor. Mom's eyes are puffy. Dad's shoulders slump beneath his worn suit jacket. Jessica stands slightly apart, scrolling through her phone as if this is all a minor inconvenience. They spot me. Mom rushes forward, arms outstretched. Amy, sweetheart, we can still fix this as a family. Her perfume invades my space, the same scent that filled my apartment when I returned to find a stranger living in my home. This isn't who we raised you to be. Dad steps closer, voice low. Think about what this will do to our reputation, to your mother's health. Is that what you want? I feel a familiar pressure building in my chest, the weight of family obligation. For a moment, I'm 12 again, swallowing disappointment as my achievements fade into the background of Jessica's existence. Jessica finally pockets her phone and hisses, "You're destroying our family over a stupid car." The pressure in my chest dissolves, replaced by a clarity that straightens my spine. This stopped being about the car the moment you felt entitled to take what wasn't yours. My voice comes out steadier than I expected. It's about 29 years of taking without asking. The courtroom doors open. My attorney touches my elbow, and I walk past them without looking back. Judge Carwell's glasses reflect the projection screen as my attorney displays the text message from my father. "We sold your car. Jessica needed the money more." The message looms large against the white wall, the casual theft of my property laid bare in 12 simple words. Miss Morgan has documented years of financial exploitation by her family members, my attorney continues, clicking through a slideshow of evidence. Bank statements showing $25,000 withdrawn the day after the unauthorized sale of her vehicle. Social media posts from the defendant Jessica Morgan showing purchases made with those funds. I watch my father shift in his seat, tugging at his collar. My mother stares at her hands folded in her lap. Jessica glares at me from across the room, her expression a mixture of disbelief and indignation as if my seeking justice is the true betrayal. The judge's expression grows increasingly troubled as financial records flash across the screen years of loans, never repaid, my name on the car title, the documented value of the vehicle. My parents' attorney offers weak rebuttals about family arrangements and misunderstandings, but his arguments wither beneath the weight of evidence I've meticulously collected. When the judge finally speaks, his voice cuts through the courtroom like a blade. This is a clear case of unauthorized sale of property and financial exploitation. He removes his glasses, fixing my parents with a direct stare. The court finds in favor of the plaintiff. The words hang in the air. Years of dismissal and diminishment answered with 6 simple words. The court finds in favor. The defendants are ordered to pay $30,000 for the value of the vehicle, plus $10,000 in damages, and all legal fees associated with this case. I hear my father's sharp intake of breath. My mother leans over, whispering something in his ear. His face pales. "We'll lose the house," my mother whispers, loud enough to carry in the quiet courtroom. The judge continues speaking, but their words echo in my mind. "We'll lose the house." The home where Jessica was celebrated while I was overlooked. Where my scholarship announcement warranted distracted nods, while Jessica's C-average graduation inspired a backyard party for 50. I should feel vindicated. Instead, I feel hollow not from regret, but from the realization that justice doesn't heal the wounds. It simply stops the bleeding. 3 weeks later, I drive past my childhood home. The for sale sign swings gently in the spring breeze. A moving truck sits in the driveway, its back doors open like a mouth ready to swallow the remnants of my past. Through the open garage, I glimpse Jessica carrying a box to her car, her face tight, with an unfamiliar emotion reality. For the first time in her life, Jessica is facing consequences that can't be charmed away or passed to someone else. I don't slow down. I don't stop. My new SUV, nicer than the one they sold, carries me forward while they move backward into a 2-bedroom apartment across town. The symmetry isn't lost on me. My 2-bedroom apartment they dismissed, now mirrored in their downsized reality. Back home, I stand at my kitchen counter, the one I selected after comparing 12 different samples. Sunlight still streams through my windows, casting golden rectangles across my hardwood floors. But something has shifted. The apartment feels different because I am different. The court judgment sits on my countertop. I trace my finger over the embossed seal, the official recognition of my rights. For a moment, I consider framing Ida trophy of sorts. Instead, I open a drawer and place it inside, closing it with a soft click. This chapter is closed, I whisper to the empty room. I pull out my phone and scroll to my contacts. Mom, Dad, Jessica. 3 names that once defined my worth, now reduced to digital entries I no longer need. Delete, delete, delete. With each tap, the weight I've carried since childhood grows lighter. I take a deep breath, not the shallow kind that braces for disappointment, but the full lunged inhale of someone facing an open horizon. Outside my window, the city continues its rhythm. Inside, the only sound is my breathing steady and free. I trace my fingers over the engraved nameplate on my office door. Director of Marketing, Amy Morgan. The brass feels cool and solid against my skin, much like the foundation I've built for myself. 3 years ago, I was fighting for recognition in a family that couldn't see me. Now, executives seek my opinion across conference tables. Amy, do you have a minute? Tara peeks into my office, her expression earnest. I'm struggling with the presentation for tomorrow. Come in. I gesture to the chair across from my desk where project briefs and quarterly reports are arranged in precise stacks. Behind me, my Marketing Excellence Award catches the afternoon light. After guiding Tara through her concerns, I sign the final papers for my beach house investment property, calculated decision after months of research and planning. The realtor beams as I hand her back the pen. Congratulations, Miss Morgan. It's rare to see someone your age making such sound investments. I smile, knowing what she doesn't, that each signature represents not just financial acumen, but freedom purchased at the steepest price. Later that evening, laughter fills my apartment. 6 friends crowd around my dining table, wine glasses reflecting the warm lighting I've installed since reclaiming my space. These people celebrate my victories without diminishing them, ask about my dreams without redirecting the conversation to themselves. To Amy, Marcos raises his glass, his eyes sincere. Who taught us all what real strength looks like. As their glasses clink against mine, warmth spreads through my chest that has nothing to do with the wine. My smile reaches my eyes, unforced and genuine. The hostess leads me to my favorite corner table at Riviera. I'm halfway through my salmon when the restaurant door swings open. My parents enter, Jessica trailing behind them. They look smaller somehow, diminished. Jessica spots me first, freezing momentarily before masking her expression. Our eyes meet across the restaurant, 3 seconds of contact that once would have sent anxiety spiraling through me. Now I feel nothing but calm detachment, like observing strangers in a painting. I return to my meal, savoring each bite as they're seated on the opposite side of the restaurant. Wind whips through my hair as I drive my new SUV along the coastal highway. At $45,000, it's a significant upgrade from what they took from me. The dashboard holds a small framed photo from my European trip, me standing alone on a hillside, arms outstretched, face tilted toward the sun. Some prices are worth paying for peace, I whisper to the open road ahead. My parents think I should keep supporting my brother financially, even though he gambles it away, Elise says, her voice trembling slightly. She's the newest member of my team, brilliant but burdened. Family doesn't always mean loyalty, I tell her, remembering my own journey. Respect must be earned, even from those who share your blood. She looks up, surprised by my directness. Self-reliance is the most valuable achievement, I continue, choosing my words carefully. And setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's necessary for survival. That evening, I spread travel brochures across my coffee table grease. New Zealand, Morocco. Solo adventures calling to a woman who no longer fears standing alone. Beside them lies my investment portfolio, growing steadily, and plans for renovating my kitchen with the exact backsplash I've wanted. I open my journal, a habit I've maintained since rebuilding my life, and write, "The family I choose will be the one I deserve." Each word feels like shedding another layer of the woman I was the one who measured her worth by others' validation. The apartment is quiet except for the scratch of my pen against paper, but the silence no longer feels empty. It feels like mine.